we're going to cover this question, okay? Is everybody on page 13?
Yep.
Yep.
We're looking at number 38?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is this. What benefits do believers receive from Christ at death? Now, we already talked about we're all going to die, right?
Yes.
So what's the benefit of dying as a believer now? Not as an unbeliever, but as a believer. Before you raise your hand, let's read the answer, okay? You ready?
Yep.
You got to follow along while I read it. The souls of believers are, at their death, made perfect in holiness and do immediately pass into glory. And their bodies, being still united to Christ, do rest in their graves until the resurrection. Now, that's a lot, right? So let's pick that apart a little bit. The souls of believers are, at their death, made perfect in holiness. What do you think that means, made perfect in holiness? James?
No sins and no violence and stuff.
So, the first part is this. The souls of believers are, at their death, made perfect in holiness. That's a good thing, right? No more sin. And do immediately pass into glory. What does that mean? We immediately, upon death, pass into glory. Does anybody know of someone that the Lord talked to right before they died? Can anybody think of a story like that? With no noises?
Sorry.
Right before they died. Benjamin?
Was it Grandpa?
No.
Or...
In the Bible, there's a story.
Oh! The guy on the cross.
Yes! The thief on the cross. And Jesus, Jesus talked to him and said what to him?
Said, you'll be with me in eternity.
You shall be with me in heaven.
Paradise.
Yeah.
Right?
I was about to say that.
He says, Lord, remember me when you enter your kingdom. And Jesus told him, today you'll be with me. Now, what do we learn from that? What do we learn about what happens to you when you die? What do we learn from that story? Yes.
Was it the mean guy or the
Nice guy?
That
We learn that when we die, we're going to be with
God.
Jesus in paradise, just like that guy, right? So you see what it says here? And do immediately pass into glory.
So every Christian is going to heaven?
Every Christian, when you die, you go be with Jesus. So we don't have to be afraid of death, right? When you die, whatever it is, whatever happens to you, it's going to be way better because you're going to go be with Jesus. If you're a believer. If you're not a believer, it's awful. Does anybody know of an unbeliever that died? And then we know what happened to him after he died? There's a story. The rich man and Lazarus. And Lazarus was a beggar. And the rich man...
Was it his dad?
No. The rich man and Lazarus both died. And the rich man went to hell. And Lazarus went to be with...
God.
No.
Which one?
Kinda. The story says Abraham.
Abraham.
Yep, he went where Abraham was. Okay? And the rich man was in torment, it says. He wasn't a believer. Right? So when you die and you're lost, you go to an awful place. But when you die as a believer, you go be with
Abraham.
Jesus. And Abraham's there too. Abraham in the Bible.
Abraham Lincoln, did he go to hell or?
I think he was a believer.
Yeah.
We don't know though. We don't know.
Why is he
God
so
knows.
famous? Because he's freed slaves.
Okay, so we're getting off track.
President.
You ready? So everybody understand so far?
Yeah.
Pass into glory. You follow me?
Yep. Yeah.
And their bodies, being still united to Christ, do rest in their graves until the resurrection. Now, the believers that die, they go be with the Lord, and their bodies are sitting in the grave, unless you're Caleb and you got eaten by the shark. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
Right? Until the resurrection. Now we talked about that, didn't we? The resurrection. When do you get raised? You're a believer, you died, your body's in the grave. When do you get raised?
When Jesus comes.
When Jesus comes back. And what's going to happen? What are we going to
We
hear?
get a new ball.
What are we going to hear
a horn.
right when he comes back? Yes? What kind of horn?
Trumpet. A trumpet.
Trumpet. right?
On your head.
And the loud command of the archangel.
And your head.
And then the believers are going to rise from their graves. You guys believe that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we shouldn't fear dying, right? Because there's great hope when we die. We're going to be with the Lord. And then someday, we're going to get new bodies. And the bodies are going to be perfect. Right?
Yep.
We're probably going to all look like Benjamin. Now, who knows what we'll look like, right? But we're going to be like the Lord.
So
With perfect bodies.
we'll be like bright,
Bright,
shiny,
clean.
clean.
That body will never die. It lasts for eternity. And guess what?
What?
There's no more sin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So all those awful things you feel like doing, Drew, right? You won't want to do those anymore. You'll just want to be perfect. Because there won't be any more sin in your body. It'll be a perfect body. Anybody got any questions? What
Yeah.
benefits do believers receive from Christ at death? Who wants to read the answer?
Me, I'll never get to.
You never get to? You got a book?
I mean, okay.
Page 13, 38. Number 38. What benefits do believers receive from Christ at death? Read the answer nice and loud. The souls. You want to read
The
it?
souls
James is going to read it.
believers.
James is going to read it.
At the...
I'm sorry, I didn't say it loud enough. James is going to read it.
What? What did you just say?
Go ahead, James, hit it.
Huh?
The souls of believers are, after death, made perfect in holiness, and do immediately pass into glory, and their bodies, beginning still united to Christ, do rest in their graves until the resurrection.
Very good.